Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And apologies, guys, we are very late tonight due to technical issues. So welcome to the channel, guys, and hope you enjoy the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And I'm telling you right now, I am joined by Omundi. Hello, sir. How are we doing today?
Yeah, good. Ready and waiting like most people in the comments. But we're here. Let's get started.
Yeah. Jay, how you doing, sir? How have you been? Long time no see.
I'm good, man. I'm gutted though that there's not the four of us on tonight, is there? Because there was maybe four of us, and then we've had technical difficulties. And I feel a bit guilty that the show went on without him, without Mr. B. Do you know what I mean? I felt like should we all just not do it because we can't do it without Mr. B. But it's what he wanted. It's what he would have wanted. He would have wanted the show to go on. So we move.
Brilliant. And guys, it's been a long time. I haven't been on the channel for about a week or so now, so it's very strange coming back. And I know for a fact loads of the comments going to blame it on me being late because I'm always late anyway. But for tonight, I can say it's nothing to do with me, but it is a shame that Mr. B is not on at the moment. But guys, what have you guys been up to? I'm wondering what you've been up to because it's been a long time, really.
You know what I've been up to. We had a busy weekend. I had Pat over from Ireland. We were doing a live watch along, and Mr. B turned up as well. First time, three of us together. Went really well. We've bought some equipment with the Man United Agenda funds. Got some new lighting, got a new camera as well, you know. So my living room's sort of stroke a studio now as well. So I'm really happy with my picture. I look bright. I can see every blemish on my face. So yeah, I'm buzzing about it.
Jay, how you been? How's things going? Long time.
Yeah, man. I feel like I've not been on the channel for months because it's been a little while. I usually come on at least every other week. But everything with life, and I've had a severe case of man flu. Like it was touch and go at one point as to whether I was going to make it, but thankfully I managed to persevere. So yeah, I've been all right, man. Do you know what? It's just watching United, man. It's not good for your health, is it? Do you know what I mean? Like even when we win, like the last 5 minutes at Goodison, like I was in the studio, I was watching it, and I swear I must have aged about 10 years. Do you know what I mean? I had visions of Jordan Pickford getting a last-minute equaliser, and I was so raging with that Marcus Rashford disallowed goal as well. I was like, I just went silent. I was just quiet for like the last 5 minutes because you remember when he drew 3-0 with us at Old Trafford?
Yeah,
I thought like which more or less put the final nail in the coffin, didn't it? Of the title race for us that season, the title challenge, sorry. And yeah, I thought, oh no, this is going to be another one of them. But yeah, I love the setup as well, what you've got on Monday. You guys, I love when you do a watch along like that, when it's like you feel like you're just watching it with your mates. You know, when I've seen you all sat there in your living room. I love that. It's just nice vibes, chatting with your friends, and I love all that. And you know, it helps me as well. Like, you know, when I've been there's been times when I've been isolating and things like that, and you know, during lockdown and when we all started working together and stuff, and when you can connect with people like that, it feels like you're chilling with your mates. It helps me. Do you know what I mean? And it does, and I really love it. I love the setup you've got, and you know, it's good to see the channel going from strength to strength. It really is.
Well, thanks to you. You give us some really good advice, and yeah, it does feel more authentic when we're sitting down next to each other. We've done it a few times now. We came up to Manchester for that terrible game. That was a good day out, but just being together with the boys, you know, because it's a bit artificial when we are like this, aren't we? We can actually touch you, Jay, in the flesh.
Jay, what he's trying to say is
I'm less mouthy in the flesh when I see the size of you two. Do you know what I mean? I start giving it all the bigging when I see how like 6'7" on Monday. I start being nicer to you.
Jay is sitting there. What he's really trying to say is, when I see Jay next time, I want to put my hand on his head because that's how tall he is compared to us. He towers over us.
Yeah, man, he could easily do that. He could do that from across the street. He's that big.
Yeah. So now it's been sort of, as I said, it's been a difficult time. I was ill last week as well, and also for being ill, I'm watching a new show. I don't know if Jay, you might be with me on this. I know Monday is not with me at all on it. Married at First Sight.
Married at First Sight, man. The title says everything I need to know about that, man. Come on with some stupidness. Married at First Sight. Listen, do you know how much grief I get off my missus? The fact we got 3 kids and I've still not put a ring on her finger. The last thing I need to be doing is putting Married at First Sight on. Do you know what I mean? You know them ones. Me and her go to a wedding and then she'll be in my ear. She'll be like, "These haven't even got kids together and they're getting married." And I'll be like, "All right, yeah, I'm working on it." Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Married at First Sight. Come on, what's that? That's just making a mockery of marriage, that is it? Come on, like, surely. Do you know what I mean?
You got to watch it.
Literally, you're meeting this person for the first time and then you're marrying him.
Yes. You're turning up. You literally, no. The way it is, at the altar. You meet them at the altar. That's it.
You meet them at the altar, so you've never even seen them before.
Never seen them, know nothing
meet
about
them. At the altar.
And
that is some heavy first date, that.
Exactly.
Like,
who's it that sings it? Meet me at the altar in my white dress. Jagged Edge. Jagged Edge. Some Jagged Edge in there.
Okay.
Yeah, get some Jagged Edge in.
I think I'm gonna go back to bed with this man flu, to be honest with you. You say, what is going on? We've got Solo singing Jagged Edge here and talking about meeting people down the aisle. You've been mingling with the stars, though, you aren't you, Solo?
Yes. Well, today I've met someone, ex-NFL player today. So I didn't have a clue who he was.
I heard he came over to you and asked for your picture.
That was it actually. Yeah.
And you Solo from the United Agenda, and you was like,
I think that's what it was.
I ain't got time for that. Come on, I'm working. And he's like, come on, just one little picture. Like, all right, just quickly. Like Roy Keane, you see that picture of Roy Keane when the guy asked for the selfie when he's watching the Packers game? Have you seen it?
No.
He's at the Packers game, and someone the camera's on him, and someone comes over and says to him like, "Can I have a selfie, Roy?" And he's looking behind him, going, "Move, like I'm trying to watch the game." And then he goes like after the game and like brushes him away, and then they walk off, and Roy Keane's just like, do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones. He's having none of it, but I can respect that he's watching the game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was nice meeting him. It's the second time I met. Last year, I met another guy who's quite big as well in America with the NFL, and this other gentleman is an ex-player as well. So the team that played yesterday, he played for both those teams. So yeah, it was nice. It was nice meeting a celebrity today.
Did he spend some money in the shop?
He did spend some money. Yes, he did.
What, loads of money, big money?
No, not lots of money, but he's apparently coming back in on Sunday to see me, to talk to me. So
that old chestnut. I'll be back in on Sunday. I'm gonna buy some stuff then. Yeah.
That's it. The service was that good, you know. He'll be back. He'll be back. But before we go, guys, 14 in the chat. If you're new to the channel, please give us a like and a subscribe. But before we go there, Omondi's got a sponsorship to read out really for us on Monday. Oh, Jay, we've got a sponsorship as well now.
That's right. We're sponsored now by GMS. That's Global Mapping Surveys. Global Mapping Surveys currently assist with architects, property developers, construction companies all over the country. They offer a wide range of services such as setting out topographical surveys, CD laser scanning, and monitoring. The link is in the description for the website and contact details. So big up to GMS in cooperation with the Man United Agenda.
Brilliant. Thank you. So now, Jay, we're talking about sort of the game a little bit yesterday, and what we want to talk about as well, the second segment of it, and I would like everyone to get involved in the comments as well. Is Ronaldo the greatest of all time? We will be asking you guys the question, but before we go there, Jay, yesterday's game, obviously a couple of controversial, one really, the Rashford goal, I'm a bit sort of suspect about, because I think was it last season where we had the same sort of similar thing happen with the handball, and then was it West Ham it was against or something like that, and they went on to score it.
Middlesbrough, yeah.
Yes, and they went on to score the goal. So first things first, at the moment we haven't spoken for ages, Jay, so I just want to get your intake and feedback regarding Manchester United right now, about the improvement of what Eric Ten Hag's coming and done, also with it as well, about him and the stance he's took with like the likes of Ronaldo and big players. He's not scared of dropping these big players.
No, he isn't, and I've been impressed with the way he's gone about things. You know what I mean? I feel like with Eric Ten Hag, he sort of sent a message out to everyone that if you play well, you've got a chance of getting in this team, no matter who you are. And if you don't play well, you've got a chance of getting dropped from this team, no matter who you are. He's made big calls and big players. Do you know what I mean? We've seen it with the likes of Harry Maguire, obviously. You know, I know Harry Maguire's had his critics, but regardless of whether you like him or not, he's an £80 million defender that was the captain of Manchester United, and he's not been afraid to drop him. Cristiano Ronaldo, arguably the greatest player of all time, he's not been afraid to drop him. You know, Luke Shaw, who has got himself back into the team, but at one point, he dropped him for a €14 million Tyrell Malacia. It's a big call, that. Do you know what I mean? To drop an established left-back who's arguably going to be England's left-back in the World Cup and go, you know what? Malacia is in, you're out. And I think that's the biggest one probably is Scott McTominay in for Casemiro for a few games. You know, people thought Casemiro was going to start against Arsenal. I was at the game, and I thought, you know, this is it now. He's had a few weeks. He'll start, and he didn't. He started with McTominay. You know, you've got a 5-time Champions League winner in Casemiro, an out-and-out DM, one of the best in the world at that job, and you say, nah, the kid who's come through the ranks, who's been doing a job for me, he's going to start. And I like that. I think that, you know, we need a bit more meritocracy at Manchester United, because in the past, I think a few managers have been undone by sticking with players they shouldn't have stuck with. Now and again, not all the time, but now and again, the favourites, or this is the guy that's got me out of trouble before, I'll stick with him again. And sometimes you got to go, no, do you know what? This kid's on form. This one isn't. He's in. It sends a message to everyone in that squad. If you got to play for Manchester United, you got to play well. It's that simple. Don't matter who you are. Don't matter what you've won. Don't matter any of that. Eric Ten Hag doesn't care. You know, we had a situation, I think, the other week on the bench where we had, was it 14 Champions League winning medals on the bench for Manchester United Football Club? I've never seen that before in my life. We've never even had that in a squad, and we had it on the bench. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, what is happening here? But that just shows he doesn't care about reputation. He cares about performance, and we need that from Eric Ten Hag. And I've been very impressed with the way he's gone about his business. I think it's going to take a long time. I think last time we were on it, OMONDI was talking about, you know, how long it could take to turn things around. And, you know, I completely agree with that this isn't going to happen overnight. But so far, what I've seen, I've liked the fact that he rewards good performances. I like the fact that if you don't play well, you can get dropped no matter who you are. And I also like the fact that Eric Ten Hag's adapted as well. You know, he's had to adapt at times. You go back to that Brentford game, shambles. Yeah, it was. And, you know, the manager can't just wash his hands of that. He's got to take some responsibility. But we've seen a reaction from the players in that. Do you know what I mean? Even the City game, which you thought, oh my God, this is going to be worse than Brentford. At least there was a bit of a reaction there in that second half. I mean, it was terrible. Don't get me wrong, the game in entirety. But there was a reaction there. There was a little bit of something. And I just feel like Eric Ten Hag is the right man for the job for me. I know it's early days, but I like what I've seen so far. Do you know what I mean? He looks like he's got a real positive way about him, and the players are responding to it.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to come back to, I'll go to OMONDI first. OMONDI, sort of, there was bits and pieces came out in the media today where he done an interview, and he was talking about the sort of likes of, say, Anthony. Anthony's now come in, he scored a few goals, but he's still got this whole thing where he's saying, well, he's still not good enough, even though he's getting the goals. So it just shows the mentality, how it's shifted from under old managers, like what Jay says, to almost like we brought a player in who's doing okay, in my opinion, but yet the manager still wants more out of him.
Yeah, I think as a manager, to get that respect, you have to be consistent so players know where they stand with you. It's really important, you know. You're managing, like, whether you're Sunday League or managing top league like this now. He's come from Ajax. He's had a bit of respect there. As our Dutch correspondent comes in and tells us little insights into what Ten Hag's really like. And I really do like him. Like Jay was saying, I think he's a top manager. What he's done, no, he doesn't care about reputations and that kind of thing. He's proven that already. The evidence is there with the players that we mentioned earlier. But I think when he's talking about Anthony now, I think you have to keep people on their toes. Every player is different. And you have to sort of, you know, boost them up in their own little way. So if you say to Anthony, you know, you can do a bit better, he's got more in the tank, that kind of thing, that's probably what pushes his buttons and gets the best out of him. Just speaking on Anthony quickly, I really like him. I think obviously we saw the skills beforehand. We couldn't really judge him as a player, his character, his personality, but we're starting to see his personality on the field. Just little things you can notice about his aggression, his winning mentality. He's a bit nasty as well, you know. So every player's got different attributes, and I think the manager certainly knows how to get the best out of him. And he started pretty well. You can't argue with that. Whether it's 80 million, who's to measure what a price is and what you expect? Yeah, all right, he's 80 million. I want 20 goals this season. It's not about that. You just got to perform for the team, and at the moment, he's giving us a little balance out there. So overall, the manager, granted, we've had 3 defeats, 2 bad ones. Well, 3 bad ones. Every defeat is bad, but he wants to win every game. We haven't drawn a game. We've won the other games, and I've been pretty impressed, even yesterday, about the control. I know it was like desperate at the end, but it's only because Everton were like lumping the ball forward, and we were a bit concerned. You know, that's the only way they could have break us down. They took them 88 minutes to try and break us down. They couldn't really create much, which suggests that we're a good team. And they must have been frustrated, so they went back to long balls and pushing 2 big strikers up there, Rondon and ponytail guy, Calvert-Lewin or whatever, and tried to give us trouble that way. And that is I think that's credit to Man United, because in play they didn't really have much to offer us, and that's a Premiership team. So I think we're doing all right so far.
Jay, going with that as well, talking about the Anthony thing, what sort of impact are you believe you've seen so far from him? And Omundi is saying about the skill and the skill set. I remember when we against Arsenal, especially when he's trying those step overs, just remind me of a prime young 18-year-old Ronaldo.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think you knew what you sort of expect with Anthony, in the sense that he runs at defenders, he's got skills, he's got tricks in his armoury, but he's a grafter as well. Do you know what I mean? You look at that Ajax team. I think I mentioned this last time I was on, and we were talking about Anthony. The under 10 Ajax, they didn't concede a lot of goals, and the players all work defensively as well as offensively. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they just the wingers leave it all to the fullbacks to do all the defending, because in an Eric Ten Hag team, the fullbacks like to get forward, and when everyone needs to, you've got to get back and help out. Do you know what I mean? And Anthony did that, and I think we've seen that as well. We've seen him getting around the pitch. He can handle the physicality of the Premier League. I know it's only early days, but to score 3 goals in your first 3 Premier League games, I think that's some sort of record for Manchester United. It's phenomenal, that, because what worried me was if it had been took him a little while to get. People get obsessed with stats, goals and assists. And if he didn't have a goal or an assist in his first few games, people going, waste the money. Look, he ain't got a goal or assist, 0 in his column, all that jazz. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking about us lot. I mean, just the pundits or the media or whatever. And he took that away straight away. He took that away after half an hour against Arsenal, scored straight away. It's like, right, he's got goals. He's getting goals. He's getting involved in the positive things, because it's not just about goals or assists, but that's obviously a barometer that people use to sort of judge you by. So he's doing that. But if you actually watch him, watching the graph that he puts in, watching the way he tracks back, there's no sort of coincidence that even in the Europa, Eric Ten Hag keeps picking him. He doesn't drop him, does he? He keeps picking him for a reason, because he values what he does on that football pitch for Manchester United, both offensively and I think defensively as well. And I've been really impressed with Anthony. You know, you look at the way he's connecting with his teammates, not just in terms of link-up play and stuff like that, but I'm a big sort of believer in the value of the team spirit. You can see the way he has a laugh with the players. You can see the way they're hugging and the messing about. Him and Ronaldo doing a little celebration yesterday. I love all that. Do you know what I mean? I love it.
I love it. I love it.
Because you need a little bit of that. You need someone who can sort of, connect with his teammates and keep that positivity as well. So yeah, I've been massively impressed with him from the energy, the effort, and the quality as well. You know what I mean? And the way he's walked into Manchester United with €100 million price tag on his back, and you think he had a £10 million price tag on him. He doesn't look phased or bothered by it at all. It looks like he's just enjoying himself, and that's what you want to see. I want to see players playing for Manchester United who look like they're loving it, and he does that.
Yeah, and again, the good thing with Anthony and what I like about Anthony is when Ten Hag left, there was certain rumours circulating to say that he actually wanted to go to Manchester United as well, and he actually wants to play. And I think over the years, we've gone and got players on big wages who actually physically don't want to come in and play for Manchester United. It's, we're at Man United, so we know we're going to get a pay packet. Maybe unfair what I'm saying about certain players, but with Anthony, what I see with Anthony, he actually wants to play for Manchester United. It's like Malacius as well, wants to play for Man United. So these players are coming in, wants to. But before we go to the comments in a minute, guys, I want to also touch on it as well. Yesterday, Casemiro, first start for Manchester United in the Premier League. What did you make of his performance? Because obviously the first goal, I'm going to be a bit tedious with it. I thought that was a foul. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was a foul on him.
Now, do you know what? I don't think, I don't want to be too critical of Anthony, especially when singing his praise. I don't think it was a great ball, in particular, put him in a bit of trouble. But I do think he lost it. I don't think it's a foul for me. I thought, you know what, he could have got rid of it. He could have, even if he kicked it out into touch or whatever, he could have chose a better option than what happened. And I think it was, he's a little bit unfortunate in the sense that he's lost it. He's been given it under pressure because he's got, I think he had about 3 men around him at one point.
Yeah.
Got the ball, someone's tight behind him, lost it. Iwobi scored a bit of a world. It's not very often he scores those types of goals. But then you want a reaction, and you got one from Casemiro. You look at the goal for Ronaldo. Casemiro loses it, doesn't he? And then wins it back. He loses it with his touch, wins it back off Iwobi again, funnily enough, and then plays an absolutely inch-perfect pass. So I think that Casemiro wasn't perfect. There was a couple of times when, he gave the ball away a little bit or whatever. But, he should have probably scored that header. But he was deserved for his player of the match. I thought that. I thought he deserved it because I thought he was everywhere. He was pressing from the front. He was dropping deep when he needed to. Obviously, set up a goal, sticking a foot in. It was just a thorn in their side. And you can see the way he was pressing the space as well, forcing Everton to make mistakes. The likes of Tarkowski and Conor Cody, I think, the other centre-back. They were looking around for players to go to, and Casemiro was always there and thereabouts, and they're going long, and United are getting possession back. Casemiro, I thought, was fantastic yesterday, and we know he's got that in his locker. I'm not surprised that Casemiro was dominating the midfield against Everton. No disrespect to them, but I kind of expect him to. Do you know what I mean? And I'm hoping that this can be, the sort of the start of what we can see week in, week out from Casemiro, because I like McTominay, I like Fred. I'm not as big a fan of Fred as you are, but no one is. But there's no doubt.
Didn't you say your dad, Jay, is a Fred fan?
Right, I tell you what, my dad, right? I love my dad to bits. He's like the harshest critic, right? My dad, right? Honestly, right? He's the harshest critic of United players you'll ever get. Yeah, his standards are like Sir Alex Ferguson times 10. Yeah, he's not having any half-hearted mediocrity, nothing, right? But for some reason, right, the guy will not have a bad word to say about Fred. Like, he will criticize everyone, but he's having none of it with Fred. He loves Fred, and I think he loves the fact that Fred, no matter what, he tries his best, and that's all you can ask for. Yeah, I think the sort of difference with Casemiro, when you can see it with Fred and McTominay, yes, they've got loads of energy and they'll try and all this sort of stuff, but there's just little moments where you can see there's a different level there. There's just a different level to Casemiro, and he's got certain things in his locker that, no disrespect to your boy Fred or to Scott McTominay, they haven't got. Do you know what I mean? They haven't got that. And, you saw it at Goodison, and I'm hoping now we're going to see a lot more of it.
Well, to be honest with you, Jay, I'd love to see Casemiro and Fred play together in the Premier League. That Brazilian
connection. Yeah. Maybe, man, who knows?
Yeah. So, Jay, there is a question here for you to answer. Apparently, we hate Maguire. I honestly don't hate Maguire. I just don't believe he's a Manchester United captain. That's my opinion.
Listen, I mean, I was talking about this when me and Scotty were doing a podcast earlier, and the thing with Maguire is it is easy to sort of to see why he gets criticism and to join him in that criticism or whatever, and to sort of to point out his faults, and he's not having a good time of it. I just end up in this mindset where, because everyone attacks him, I almost want to defend him, because I feel, especially when I see England fans attacking him all the time and stuff, and I feel like I want to defend him because he's a Manchester United player. I think that what's happened with Maguire is, he had a bit of a sorry time last season. Okay, everyone did, but, he didn't have a particularly good season. This season is a new manager, it's a sort of new regime. And what's happened is Martinez has almost been the player that everyone's warmed to in defence. Everyone wants to see, get stuck in. He's a leader. He's great on the ball. And that sort of highlighted maybe Maguire's faults. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think if it wasn't for the fact Martinez had come in, it wouldn't be as bad for Maguire. But because you've got Martinez who's doing all the things that you'd really want to see from Maguire, that leadership, that quality, that, sort of getting stuck in and winning 50-50s and all that sort of stuff, that then people are going, we got this guy from Ajax, Martinez, who's come in and hit the ground running. and we're still waiting for Maguire to show us why he's the captain. So yeah, I think he suffered a little bit from that. I think that with Varane's injury record, I've said this before, I think Maguire will get chances this season. I just don't know. I have a sneaky feeling this might be his last season at Manchester United, if I'm being honest. But listen, I will always get behind anyone that puts on the shirt for Manchester United. And I think that with Maguire, you know, he's probably had some stick he's deserved, and he's probably had a little bit that he doesn't.
Yeah, Omundi, obviously we know you defend Harry Maguire to the death, but obviously, like Jay just said there, it's a case. I do the same thing with Fred, so you know. But Harry Maguire, a lot of criticism, and obviously the question from Big G. For me, at the moment, looking at the performance and the injury records and things like that with Varane, I honestly think it's going to be, if Varane's not fit, it will actually be Lindelof that's starting there all the time over him on Monday.
Yeah, could be. But the thing is, we've got 4 players there who are good players. They're all proven in the Prem. And Lindelof has come in. People were impressed with him yesterday. He played pretty well. And he's sort of that B team, isn't he? The guy, he comes in, he knows his role. I think Maguire, he's got to learn now that he's not first team. As Jay was saying, Martinez is fantastic. I mean, seeing him dominate, and he's just, everything about him is just like saying, I'm the boss out here, you know, I'm running things. So for Maguire, he has to sort of accept, well, there's levels now. I'm at a big club and I'm no longer the main man, and I have to really step it up. And there is, you can see in training, you train with this guy every day, and you can see, right, how can I improve? And maybe he can improve. The question was asked if it's second chances. Yeah, Martial. I wrote Martial off. I wrote Rashford off. These guys, it's a mental attitude adjustment you need. Maybe that's what Maguire needs as well, because I think he's a good player. I think you don't make it to where he made it, getting to World Cup semi-finals and Euro finals and getting Man United 3rd and 2nd in the league. You don't make it unless you've got something about you. So despite his glaringly obvious mistakes that he's been making, I think if he can turn that around and sort of get him part of the system and incorporate himself into the side, a bit like Ronaldo has. Ronaldo was like not wanting to be here, and suddenly you can see with his body language, it seems like he's one of the boys again. Look at the celebration yesterday, which I love, by the way. It reminds me of Lee Sharp and Paul Ince, but you love to see that kind of thing, you know, things are going on nice with the squad when you see things like that. I was laughing my head off. But as for Maguire, I just think it's down to him. He needs to put his head down and get his attitude right. And I think we come to a stage in the season where we might need him to step up and bang a goal in with his head and, you know, give it all that or whatever he's done. But he will have his retribution, and because he's got a lot on his plate right now. He's got a heavy load with the fans, all the pressure and the price tag and the slab head and all of that. So to relieve that is by achievement. You only get confidence from achievement. And if he can achieve something by coming back on the side and winning some fans over, that'd be good for him.
So what we're talking about right now from Harry Maguire is to score the winning goal for England in the World Cup. Brilliant. Yeah. And then also to score the Europa League. Score the Europa League final goal for us. And also the FA Cup goal as well.
That'd be nice.
There you go.
Easy.
So Big G, right. I do my solo 11 every week, Jay. So every week I pick my team, what I believe might be the starting lineup for Manchester United. The first week I left Fred out, I looked at this channel and people was taunting me, calling me names because I left Fred out, because I always back Fred. So, Big G, apologies for leaving Fred out. Amanda, would you mind going through some of the comments, please? Guys, 19 in the chat. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And remember, the next part is get involved in this conversation, guys. It's going to be about Cristiano Ronaldo. Is he the greatest of all time?
Okay, so the comments, there's just a little joke about the GMS survey. Everyone wants to know whether Motty knows what a topographical survey is. We're pretty in a hot seat, but we move on. Big G saying, wait to see what happens with Bruno. Will he be dropped? He's upset a few people on our channel. They're saying it's time for him, sort of Eriksen, to take his place in a way.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Bruno Fernandes, on here, a lot of people have called for him to be dropped.
I don't think he needs to be dropped, personally. I think he's doing a good job in that midfield. I think it's working well, whether it's him, McTominay and Eriksen, or him, Casemiro and Eriksen. I think there's, I think Bruno this season has been good for Manchester United. So yeah, I wouldn't drop him. I don't think he warrants dropping.
For the Thursday, HG Game is saying he'd like to see some youth players coming off the bench, maybe. Big G is also saying they're all good. They all aren't good enough until they win a Premier League for us. Okay, there we go. It's kind of shrewd, like Jay's dad. HG Game is saying this board actually wasted about 100 million on Wan-Bissaka, Ahmad, and Van der Beek. That's a lot of money. Want to say hi to Pat Lawless, saying Anthony is a bad bod and serious Ronaldo fanboy, mimicking him for the celebration yesterday. Yeah. Stuart Marshall, how you doing? He said Everton were pony. Anthony didn't graft against City, he says, by half time.
Well, nah, he did. I don't agree with that. If you look at his tackles, I think he was third most. I know it's only like a couple, but I think he was third for the most amount of tackles in the game, third for the most amount of interceptions on a team that got beat 6-3. You look at his heat map, he was tracking back as well. So I don't agree with that at all.
Stuart Marshall saying games should have been done by half time, but nevertheless, it was a big win. It certainly was. Pat Lawless again is saying one of my favourite parts of yesterday's game was it took us a while to pick who was the man in the match because there's so many good individuals out there, good individual performances. All credit to Eric Ten Hag, so big up for that. Casemiro was quality, grew as the game went on, says Stuart Marshall. It's all about Casemiro now. Box is saying Casemiro looked a bit startled at the pace of the Premier League. I think when he got pinched for the opening goal, people saying that. Courtini saying, guys, thank God Ghana didn't set up the equaliser yesterday. I would have been fuming. I don't know about you guys. And with regards to Maguire, UK Strange saying Maguire's in a rebuild period in terms of his future with Eric Ten Hag. He needs to see an improvement from Harry, otherwise he's out. There you go.
Okay, and then we're just going to read out the last bit now about the GMS Limited.
Okay. Again? Yep. So don't forget, GMS is our new sponsor. Global Mapping Surveys. Global Mapping Surveys currently assists architects, property developers, and construction companies all over the country. They offer a wide range of services, such as setting up topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning, monitoring, and the link is in the description. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. So now, Jay, I agree. I'm going to agree with you on this one, but unfortunately, I believe OMONDI is going to disagree with us on this one. So, Ronaldo, 700 goal he scored all round. I got the stats, but I can't remember them top of my head now. Scored something like 500 something for. Is it 500? He scored 500 something for 450 for Real Madrid. 143 for Man United. Yeah. So, Jay. My childhood, not childhood hero, but one of my hero at Manchester United. Remember the goal against Roma, that header, brilliant. Goal against, who is it that we played? Portsmouth. Yeah, goal against Portsmouth, and literally running Premier League for years and world football for years. And he scored his 700 goal yesterday. Do you believe he's the greatest of all time?
The greatest player of all time?
Yes.
Difficult, isn't it?
Jay, you know come on now, Jay. Back me here. Don't be with OMONDI on this one.
What's OMONDI saying?
Pele, I believe.
Oh, were you saying Pele?
Yeah, this guy's clear of him as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know, man. I mean, from the players I've seen in my lifetime, the only sort of, I was a bit young for Maradona, to be honest with you. So the two obvious ones for me are either Ronaldo and Messi. And I'd probably go with Ronaldo over Messi, personally. I would. I think that, you know, Ronaldo's obviously won Champions Leagues in different clubs, Ballon d'Ors at different clubs. Do you know what I mean? He's done it in different leagues a lot more than Messi has. I know Messi's obviously gone to France and doing well. But in terms of like all time, I think it's a generational thing, isn't it? You know, you're going to get people that say, "Oh, can you compare him to Bobby Charlton or Duncan Edwards, or can you compare him to Maradona, or can you compare him to Pele, or, you know, whoever, or Garrincha or whatever?" But for the players that I've seen, I don't think I've seen a better player than Cristiano Ronaldo, personally. That's what I'll say. Do you know what I mean? So I can't, you know, obviously the 3 World Cups with Pele, you can't argue with that. But from the players I've seen, I think Cristiano Ronaldo is the best player I've ever seen. I'd say that.
Yeah. I'm OMONDI. I don't have VCR or whatever they call it. DVD is gone now, so Yeah, give us your point with Pele. Obviously, I didn't watch Pele. As what Jay said, Pele to me was, I was a kid in Jamaica when Pele was around, probably, so didn't see anything of him. And to be frank, what I've seen in front of me, I've seen Cristiano Ronaldo week in, week out in the Premier League, in the Spanish league, in the Italian league, and a bit in the Portuguese league. And he runs things.
Okay, so to be qualified as the greatest player of all time, you've got to be regarded as the best player in the era for starters, and you also got to be best player of all time as well, other eras. And Ronaldo doesn't tick the boxes. A lot of people argue that Messi's better than him at the moment. In this era, they played in the same era, two giants. They probably pushed each other for those goals. You know, we haven't seen these sort of goals since the olden days, Dixie Dean and even Jimmy Greaves is sort of scoring loads of goals like that. But Pele for me is number one. I think he was a great player of his era. I think when you measure greatness, you got to say, look at the stats. That's one thing you got to look at. But then obviously you can't always rely on stats because there's so many variables, isn't there? And you also got to look at winnability. What do they win? You've got to look at clutch moments, key clutch moments when it's time to step up and show who you really are. You've got to sort of transcend the game. You've got to have be an innovator. So that's why I think Cruyff is renowned. Cruyff played for Ajax, for example, 3 years in a row. That Ajax team from small little Holland won the Champions League, you know, against all odds. And then he went to the World Cup final as well. Pele, let's start with Pele, 17 years old. He goes to the World Cup in 58. He scores in the quarterfinal against Wales, scores a hat-trick in the semi-final against France, and then he scores a brace in the final at 17 years old. And then from that until 1970, 73, 74, he was the best player in the world, no doubt about it. You look at his goals, he's got 643 goals and 659 appearances for Santos. He's got 77 goals and 92 appearances for Brazil. And he's not even an out-and-out striker. This is a guy who plays a lot deeper as well. So for me, no doubt, Pele is still the benchmark. 3 World Cups as well. 1970 especially, that was like the pinnacle. He sort of changed his game. When he started off, he was just blitzing goals, you know. So if you don't base it on goals as well, because you've got Beckenbauer as well. Beckenbauer, he got to World Cup in 66, 1970, praying with like a rock arm, getting himself to the semi-finals, and in 74 he goes and wins it as well. So there's so many great players out there. I just think call yourself the greatest of all time, like I say, you have to be the best in your era and the best of all eras. And you can look at so many variables. Clutch moments, Pele, I just talked about, 70 years old, scoring in the final. Look at the goals he scored in the final in 1970 as well. The guy's just outstanding. And back then, people were kicking you off the park. The game's changed a lot. I think you break records, don't you? Get better and better. I still think Carl Lewis is one of the best sprinters of all time, even though he hasn't got the fastest time ever. But he proved he transcended the sport. He changed a lot about it. This is why he's one of the greats of all time. So I think the same applies to Pele, Maradona, winning the World Cup in 86, going to Napoli, a smaller team, and dominating and breaking Juve and breaking up AC Milan and winning the title there. We can have this argument all day. I love Zico, for example. Zico, for me, I would pick him over Ronaldo. I think he's a better player, more clinical, free kicks, goals. Zico's got like 48 goals in 71 games for Brazil. He's scored. He's an outstanding player. So for me, there's so many great players. I just don't think Ronaldo is the best of all time because he's not even the best in his era right now. It's questionable.
Jay?
I mean, again, you know, a lot of it's stats and stuff in it. I can't, like I say, I can look at, you know, you mentioned Dixie Dean earlier on and players like that. Do you know what I mean? I can look at the stats and go, yeah, you can't argue with him. You know, the numbers are there, but just from sort of players that I've seen, you know what I mean? The players that I've seen in my lifetime, because, you know, I understand someone who's watched Pele, who'll say, well, I watched Pele and he did things that I've never seen any other footballer do. I just never got the chance to see that. Do you know what I mean? I've had an argument with people who are adamant George Best is the best player they've ever seen. Do you know what I mean? Like, they'll argue with anyone about that. And I understand that argument as well, because it's like, you know, if you watch them week in, week out, you got to remember some of these players as well. A lot of the best games they played weren't televised. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, George Best scored our X amount of goals for Manchester United, and the vast majority of them weren't even ever televised. You know what I mean? It's people that saw him play those games that can comment on that. I just think, for me, it's not an open and shut case. It's an argument. It's debatable. You know, OMONDI himself said it's arguably not the best player, even of this era. You can have that argument. I just would, if I had a choice of, you know, the two players, who's the best out of Messi and Ronaldo, I'll go Ronaldo. And maybe, you know, I am a little bit biased because Ronaldo has won, you know, has helped my team win trophies and stuff. But I just feel that because I've seen him do it over a long period of time, do it in different leagues, win the Ballon d'Or, you know, in different leagues. It's quite a rarity that. Do you know what I mean? Not many players do that. They either win the Champions League in one country with one team and the Ballon d'Ors with that team, and that's it, or they don't win it. And yet he did it all with United. Won the Champions League, won the Ballon d'Or, won the Premier League, obviously, 3 in a row and all that, and then went to Real Madrid and did it all again. And I think that's pretty special. Do you know what I mean? So for me, even like, I know he came off in the final, but even like that Portuguese team winning the Euros in 2016, was it? You know, it was Eder who scored the winner. You know, he didn't even have a club, did he? Do you know what I mean? That was a team that was just, you know, okay, you know, like I say, went off in the final, but that wasn't a vintage international team. You just had some good players like Martino and one or two others, but you had Ronaldo carrying him through, you know, up to that final, up to the first whatever, before he got his knock. And I think you got to give him credit for that as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like the guy's just had success everywhere, really. And I think that he just shades it for me. He just shades it in the modern era. And I think when you get into the argument with Pele, I've seen the footage. I've seen the stats. You can't argue with the stats. 3 World Cups. Phenomenal. Maradona, you know, probably the best midfielder of the 80s other than Brian Robson. You can't argue with that. Hence the reason Brian Robson had it in his pocket
Old Trafford
in
when
84.
Barcelona came over.
Yeah.
Yes.
One player scored 2 goals in that game and it weren't Maradona.
Yes, that's right.
You know, so I get like the Maradona, and I remember, you know, you've seen the footage and you've seen the again, the stats, the winning the World Cup, taking Napoli to Serie A glory and all that sort of stuff. But just from what I've seen, and I can only go off that really to be kind of objective, even though I'm a bit biased, I would plump for Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean?
Well, here you go. Anthony is saying my top 3. Well, my top 3 is actually Fred, Ronaldo, maybe Pele. maybe. No, but there's some great points there, great ones there, because also there's other players that obviously that we spoke about, but there's other players if you go back as well, because for us, we got a player called, was it Duncan Edward as well, that we never saw play really, who they reckon could have been probably one of the greatest of all time. We didn't really see him. I think for me, Eusebio as well, didn't really see much of him. I just watched him on tape and stuff like that as a kid. Again, Maradona, I know a lot of people call him a cheat and things like that, but at the time, as a kid in Jamaica, I didn't really care whether or not he's a cheat. I didn't know nothing about what he did. I just like him as a player. But I'm going to put my bias hat on and I'm going to say Ronaldo because, you know, I grew up watching Ronaldo. I do watch other football, but I didn't really care about any other team beside Manchester United. So if you ask me anything about outside of Manchester United, yes, I can tell you a bit. But all I'm going to talk about to you is Ronaldo, Eric Cantona, Brian Robson, you know, going back. And that's all I'm talking to you about because very biased with it about these players. And also one other player that I do like, but he's not the greatest of all time, is G.O.A.T. That he was just on another level when he came to playing football, just his trickery and skills. So yeah, that's another player I do like.
Puskas, Hungarian. He was 1952. They got to the Olympic final and they won it. They got to World Cup final in 1954, and in his pomp, he scored like ridiculous amount of goals. He's got like 84 goals in 85 games or something, or 85 goals in 85 games for Hungary. And when he went to Real Madrid in his 30s and played for about 5-6 years, won 3 Champions Leagues, and when he was at Real Madrid, he scored 242 goals in 262 games in his 30s. Puskas was amazing.
On Monday, there's a question by Mr. B, and I wish Mr. B was here now because you two, me and Jay would have just sat there having a drink while you and him go ahead. This is for you, though.
I put Zico over Maradona. I think Zico was more effective. Maradona might have had tricks and everything else, great team player, but Zico for me was one of the best number 10s I've ever seen, and maybe in all time. Fantastic. Look at his output. Look at his ratio of goals. Better than Neymar, better than any other guy but Pele for Brazil. Zico is a top player. Midfield, inside forward, number 10. He can play anywhere. Top player. Just doesn't get talked about enough.
Another player, I don't know, Jay, if you agree with me as well, which I think is a good player, is Edgar Davids as well, but no one really and truly mentioned. No, I do like Edgar Davids. I'm not saying he's the greatest of all time. I'm not putting that category.
I'm glad. I was about to say.
No, he's not. No.
I think Davids is all right, but I don't know why you're bringing him up in the great.
No. I'm going to bring up a few players, but not. And thing is,
that's fair enough if you like the geezer. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like it. Yeah.
I mean, for me, a good player, but was never as good as Roy Keane or Brian Robson. For me,
yeah, fair. I did like him. I'm just bringing up a few players that I used to like when sort of growing up watching him play. I remember as a kid as well. By the way, Jay, I went out to get his glasses as well. Running.
We linked with him, weren't we? Do you remember when Keane didn't sign his deal? There was talk of us going for Davies, wasn't there?
Yes.
And he ended up at Spurs, didn't he?
Spurs, yeah. I was proper gutted when he went to Spurs because I'll never forget the time I walked around all the shops, like walking around trying to get in. The end, my aunt got me the swimming glasses with the thing there.
Really?
So I'm walking around on a football pitch thinking I'm all cool and everything. And some guy came up to me and went, "Is them swim glasses?" I sat down and went, "What are you talking about?" Nah, they're Ed could have had glasses. Because couldn't get them anywhere. So my aunt ended up buying me a pair of swim glasses to pretend I'm Edgar Davids. Just saying.
Fair enough.
It is what it is, isn't it? Great player. Amanda, would you mind going through some more of these comments, please? I know there's bath time talking about Stefano as well, Mateus as well, who's another good player as well.
Yes, there's loads. I mean, King Cantona, they're saying here, top 5. Maradona, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, Messi's left foot. That's it, says UK Strange. Some jokes here. Tony Yeboah has to be up there. We saw an interview with him, didn't we?
Hold on, whoa. Tony Yeboah, them 2 goals he scored, was it Liverpool he scored those 2 goals against?
One against Wimbledon and one against Liverpool, I think it was. Prime CR7, Ronaldinho as well. They're saying here, Ronaldinho's getting a few shouts.
Yeah.
Let's go. George Best, obviously, they're saying that. And George Pale actually said when they play in America that George Best is the best player he's ever seen, or the best player in the world. This question about David Trezeguet. I mean, come on.
Nah, come on, man. I talk about.
Oh, here we go. Box. Big up to Box. He's saying Puskas. Puskas is fantastic, man. Di Stefano. I know Bobby Charlton said Di Stefano is the best player he's ever seen. So this Stoichkov, I wouldn't put him up there, but Yashin could be one of the best goalkeepers ever. Look, overall, I think we could have a debate all day, but we've got Ronaldo, and Ronaldo is a quality player, and one of maybe 4 players who've won the Ballon d'Or at Man United.
Okay. Say that again.
He's one of only 4 players who've won the Ballon d'Or at Man United. While playing for Man United, yeah. So he's a legend.
Yeah.
I think as well, like you said, in the era that we are in now, we've got sort of Messi, you've got Ronaldo. We've got to sort of, I honestly will always, like I said, pick Ronaldo over Messi. But in footballing terms, we've got to enjoy these 2 because when these 2 finish, basically, that's it. Question for Jay.
The best Ronaldo goal I've ever seen. I'm trying to think, man. It's been
Portsmouth.
Yeah, maybe the free
Roma
kick against Portsmouth.
Roma. That header.
I mean, I take it to mean live, innit? Do you know what I mean? When I was there, I don't know. Maybe one of the free kicks. Maybe the Portsmouth free kick. It's difficult. It's difficult, innit? Because my memory is shocking as well. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is. It's terrible. That's the one that sort of stands out. But there's been loads. I wasn't there, but my favourite Ronaldo goal for United was the Porto one in the quarterfinals. I think it was the quarterfinals. Was it the quarters or the semis? I forget. In 2009, I think, that season, where it was like 40 yards out. That was a fantastic goal. That.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it is. It's like I said, there is so much you could go back in memory of Ronaldo. Look at Ronaldo. I think someone they were talking today about if Haaland continued the goal scoring record that it will take him about 16 years or something like that is it 16 years or something like that to score as many goals as Ronaldo?
He'd have to score 46 goals a year every season until he's 38 years old, and he still wouldn't catch Ronaldo.
Yeah. And that's the thing with it at the moment. We've been blessed over the last 20 years with Ronaldo. So you know what? I'll take it all day long. I'll sit there, have my bias hat on as always with Ronaldo, and say he's a GOAT. That's me. Quick one, Monday. We just got a few more bits and pieces just to go through on here. Just a few more comments, guys, from the guys there.
So best goal, Porto away in the Champions League. Ronaldo's back heel against Villa. I don't remember that, but in 2008, that's from Box.
Wow.
Ronaldo counter-attack against Arsenal with the blue kit. It is Champions League semi-final.
Was that Champions League? Was it the Champions League? Him, Rooney, and Nani?
I think so.
I think there's one with Park as well. I remember them in G.O.A.T Park being involved in one of those goals.
Really like the one last season. Oh God, yeah, that was beautiful against Spurs with that volley.
Yeah.
Controlled that ball into the corner of the net. That's beautiful. Yep, and Spurs at home too. Yeah, Box is loving that as well. So yeah, so many great goals, isn't it? But I like the clutch moments as well. It's like Keane, that header against Juventus, that made him great to show character. It might not be the best goal of all time, but he stepped up at the moment, you know. And Ronaldo's got many goals like that where he needed him and he stepped up.
What was it? Did he score against QPR? I think he was saying, but I can't remember the QPR goal though. What Bath Time's talking about. No, I can't remember it. Guys, we're running out of time there. So listen, Ronaldo the GOAT. I'm happy with that. On Monday, think Pele is. We'll take that. Jay split right down the middle, but he's got his bias hat on with Ronaldo.
Yeah,
no, I mean, what the thing is.
I'd have to go with Ronnie. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't see enough of Pele, and certainly in the modern era, it's either Messi or Ronaldo in the modern era, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
I just, you know what? I never forgive Messi for missing that penalty against Chelsea.
That's it.
I never forgiving it to Dembele when they were 3-0 up against Liverpool at the Nou Camp, and Dembele fluffed it, man. Messi should have just scored. So I mean, that would have killed that game.
True. We've got United community in the chat as well. Big up. And hold on 1 second as well. Can we say happy birthday to Vincent as well?
Happy birthday, Vinny.
Been around for ages from us. Big up, Vincent. Happy birthday. I would sing it, but I keep coughing, so I'm not going to bother now. Sorry. I was going to sing it for you. So loads of people in the chat, Vincent, wishing you happy birthday, as always. But guys, we are going to love and leave you. But before we go, we got to say a massive thank you to Jay for coming on to the channel tonight again, as always helping, supporting us. Jay, where can the guys find you?
You know where to find me. You know, you can find me at Scotty and Motty, or find me on Stretford Paddock, where I think most people sort of see me day in, day out. But just make sure, there's quite a few people watching, make sure you're subscribing to these guys, man, and check out their videos. I shouldn't be plugging other watch-alongs when it's in context with our watch-along, but I do enjoy what you're doing on your watch-alongs, man. I like the vibes you've got on there, man. And, you know, next time I can get down to London, I have to come and join your mum.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, because we had Andy surprisingly the other day on it as well. Andy was like, yeah, I'll come and do one. I was like, all right then.
Yeah, me and Andy will come down together, man. Do you know what I mean? Andy spoke to me yesterday. I think he was going to come on tonight. Is he coming on later in the week?
He's coming on tomorrow.
Is it? Yeah, he's good stuff, obviously, Andy Tate. So yeah, maybe me and Andy can come down here and we can, do you know what I mean, have a little bit of a chat with you guys.
There's room in the inn.
Yes.
There's always room.
Yes.
There's always room. So yeah, Amonde's doors are slightly higher than everyone else's. So there's plenty of room.
Andy's a big guy as well, you know. He's taller than you think. So yeah, I'll be like, it'll be me and Mr. B will be sat on the baby seat.
Don't worry, we've got you guys.
You'll have to get a stool for us, man.
Yeah, that's it. But guys, listen, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much, Jay, as always, for popping on, helping, supporting us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Like we said, it's a shame Mr. B couldn't join us today. We had technical issues with him, but just hopefully we'll be back. Not hopefully, but we'll be back tomorrow to preview the is it the Europa League show? We're previewing tomorrow, I believe so. So we will be back tomorrow, 8:30. And yeah, you get to see me again 2 days in a row. Wow, that's a miracle. You didn't see me for a couple of weeks and all of a sudden I'm back. So guys, from us on the Money Agenda, we'd like to say thank you for everyone for liking, sharing and subscribing. Good night.
Good night.